Hey, I'm Mark Stevens, author of Government Indicted, which you can get in the description below. Glad to be with you here for another short video. I am on the border of Scottsdale and Tempe, Arizona. And actually, I think this is a man-made lake. I would imagine it probably is. Yeah, I'm pretty certain that it is. Still, very pretty nonetheless. And I got a couple things I want to talk to you while I'm here. Is systemic racism, which a lot people just still deny actually even exist or ever existed in this here United States, which is why I'm here. But before I discuss systemic racism and sunset cities, up to recently never even heard of that. If you're not subscribed to the No State Project channel, go do so now. Also like and comment on the video. Let me know what other topics you wanted to hear. I was supposed to do jurisdiction, but this presented itself, and hey, if I have an opportunity to come out here, then yeah. And there's usually ducks here, so we usually feed the ducks. But I'll see if I have some time to do that. Yeah, subscribe to the channel if you want to help support the channel so I can keep doing more videos and more frequent videos. Then in the description, there are several ways that you can do that, including getting the book Government Indicted, which is available. And also Adventures in Legalland on ebook. We don't have hard copies of that anymore, but hopefully the ebook, I like the ebook anyway. See, the ebook is searchable, so that's pretty cool. Sunset cities, what the, I'm embarrassed to say that up until recently I had not even heard of a sunset city. Didn't know, in the last year, it was only in the last year that I even found out or heard about a sunset city, which is why I'm here. More so from what I've researched, it's more so over there on the other side of the street, which is Tempe, Arizona, than Scottsdale. Although there are a lot of credible reports that Scottsdale was just as much segregated, and it stands to reason that Scottsdale would be a more segregated than more middle class area like Tempe. And I've not seen anything where I live in Mesa, Arizona, I haven't seen where that was a sunset city. So what exactly is a sunset city? Well, a sunset city goes back to the days of segregation. And what I've reported on the show before regarding segregation, you had fantastic musicians like Duke Ellington. Duke friggin' Ellington! And Duke Ellington, who is just a genius, and his impact on American music cannot begin to be understated. Or overestimated, rather. I think his contribution to American and world music is just incalculable. A man of such monstrous talent, and his band, Johnny friggin' Hodges, who was a huge influence on saxophone players. They were not able to stay in the hotels that they played in because the hotels they played in were segregated. Their bands couldn't be segregated. Now, a lot of musicians did fight that, and it was I don't have the time to go into that today, but needless to say, they were segregated. And now we're celebrating, it was just an anniversary of the D-Day invasion of Normandy, and that the United States military segregated the ships, segregated the barracks. So, but back to a sunset city. A sunset city like Tempe, Arizona, was completely segregated. In fact, they did not have a black family living in Tempe until the mid-60s. And being I'm from Long Island originally. If you go back to the big boom after World War II, and you have places like Levittown, which is on Long Island, but I believe there's also Levittown in Pennsylvania. So the idea was to provide good affordable housing for the returning military. Not just there, but all over the United States. You think, it was like a lot of people just figured this was something that was just limited to the South, when in fact it was not. It was the entire United States, Tempe being one of them, one of many segregated areas. And right in the covenants, when you had a house built or you bought a house in a new development like that, right in there, and this goes on well into the 60s, you could not sell a white, it was one, they only sold to white people. Two, in the covenants and restrictions, the white owner could not sell to a black family. And they had what's called redlining, where neighborhoods were separated between white and non-white. So there were laws that were passed, I know laws, but they were meant to be good, and there was good that came of them. But it persisted. In fact, redlining lawsuits, the most recent ones were as recent as 2015, and I'll have that in hopefully some links, and I'll put the graphics here in the video. So it's a very serious thing. So just because they passed laws about that doesn't mean that it stopped. Like, so all the way up into 2015 and beyond. Oh, we've got some geese. Can we get the geese in there? Very cool. Cool. So, in line with the segregation, which sometimes persisted even into the 70s. The 70s, my gosh. I was a little guy. And they had places like Tempe and Scottsdale where non-white could come in to work. So the Scottsdale people, they call it Snotsdale or Snobsdale. So people in Scottsdale could have their domestic workers, they could have their lawns cut by Mexican. But see, we still have a little bit of wind here in Arizona, in Tempe, so that's how you know we haven't hit the real hot season. So I'm enjoying this while we still have it. So the Sunset Law was said that even though, well, the Sunset Towns, even though they were black and brown people were allowed to be domestics and they were allowed to work for the better off white people, the privileged white people, they had to be the hell out of there by sundown. They were not allowed to be in Tempe after dark. In fact, things were so bad, there was actually a book that had to be written. It was actually a book written, the Negro Motorist Green Book. And this was done in the 20s, 30s, and 40s. And this was done what it provided was people that weren't white, they were given details about places they could stay when they traveled. Because if you're traveling a long distance, you're going to need to stay overnight. But there were so many sunset cities and there was so much segregation, you may not have had a safe place to stay. I mean, imagine that. They actually had to publish a book because it was so dangerous to be in Tempe, Arizona, for example, after dark, for no other reason than you weren't pasty white. So it was just too damn dangerous. So there was, and I'll have the graphic here in the video showing that's a real thing. And I'm embarrassed to say I didn't even know what these. Let's get a nice background. I didn't even know about that. And so people want to argue that there isn't systemic racism and that it's over. That's just not true. Because, yeah, Tempe, Arizona may not be a sunset city anymore. It may not be segregated anymore. But the racism is still there. Because there have been some viral videos and news reports where just recently, in the last few weeks, when a black couple has a real estate appraisal on their home, they get a lower appraisal on the exact same house. So it's still there. It's still very much there. And just ignoring it or saying it didn't happen is not doing anything to make things better for anyone. I think I had a homeless guy threaten to throw me into the lake. He was just going to pick me up and throw me in. I'll have to include, "You're going to throw me in?" So that's going to do it for this short video. Just wanted to bring some awareness to what is still a very real problem here in the United States, and that is systemic racism. you know, you can get your kicks on Route 66, as the song goes, as long as you were white, at least at night. Since, and I don't have the time to get into all the details of that, but most of the attractions on Route 66 were white only. Of course, you had you know, but that's something we'll have to get into another video if necessary. I'm Mark Stevens. It's been another short video here on the No Stay Project. If you want to help support the channel, and I hope you do, and I do appreciate those who do, get another view of the lake there. Then you can go into the description below and you can get a copy of Government Indicted. There's some other ways you can help support the show, and I do appreciate that. Like, subscribe, and comment if you like this video, or if there are other topics that you would like me to cover on the channel. And the next video, or the next two videos, I will be getting to the jurisdiction video, be the next or the one after that. But that requires a little more work than something like this. So, till then, salud. Oh, would you look at that? We caught up with the geese. Oh, I usually have corn.